On the subject of gender-affirming care being child genital mutilation, gender-affirming care being gender-affirming hysterectomies, that is mutilation. Removing your ovaries is impeding the proper function of those organs. And by the way, some people say it's the distinction between female genital mutilation as well. FGM impedes the proper functioning of the vagina by scarring the clitoris, etc. Some people are going to say, okay, well, you're scarring the tip of the penis by removing the foreskin. We will have to agree to disagree there. I had been circumcised my entire life. I'll say, it was so painful that I couldn't walk for a year, but a boom tis. That's the old joke. I got circumcised. It was so painful I couldn't walk for a year. It does not impede the proper functioning of my genitalia. Now, there are some people who say, okay, no, I was going to get into way TMI. I'm not going to do that. For those out there who say that hormone blockers, gender-affirming hysterectomies, gender-affirming double mastectomies, gender-affirming bottom surgeries is not genital mutilation, well, we'll disagree with you there. But there's a man who's now having to grovel. He's now having to kiss the ring of Big Brother and say, I love Big Brother, because I saw this story. I'll get to the tweet. I forget. Oh, no, Berenson, Alex Berenson. Thomas Jefferson, president, quote, should have known better, says the CEO in a note to the systems community. Quote, at his level, he is held to a higher standard and should have known better, Joseph D. Caccione wrote in a message Sunday to Jefferson faculty. What do you think he did, by the way, guys? He should have known better, that monster. What did he do? He liked some of Alex Berenson's tweets, criticizing COVID response, critiquing some aspects of the COVID methodology. He liked tweets in which Alex Berenson referred to gender-affirming care as genital mutilation. That bloody monster. The chief executive officer of Thomas Jefferson University said he was, quote, disappointed in President Mark Tikaczynski's, quote, careless use, end quote, of his Twitter account, in which he, quote, liked, end quote, tweets that questioned the science of COVID-19 vaccines and called gender reassignment surgery child mutilation. Oh, he wasn't even talking about puberty. He was talking about surgery. So apparently surgerizing children's genitalia for cosmetic purposes or psychological purposes, not for any medically necessary physiological purpose. I don't know what that is. Apparently it's not child mutilation anymore. It's totally do no harm practice of medicine. Quote, at his level, he is held to a higher standard and he should have known better. Yada, yada, yada. We already got that. Tikaczynski is a Yale-educated molecular immunologist. What the hell would that bum know? Who is he to know what he wants to like on Twitter when it comes to COVID vaccines? He's only a Yale-educated molecular immunologist and an academic leader who was elevated from provost to president on July 1st, and he has worked at Jefferson for 16 years. He reports to Caccione, who oversees the entire Jefferson enterprise, including health systems, yada, yada, yada. Caccione's email to the Jefferson community, which included a letter of apology, groveled to Kaczynski. If you didn't learn something from the incident, surely what you should take away is that you should apologize to the people who are abusing you, because they'll accept your apology. Not. It contained an apology from Tikaczynski the day after the Inquirer published a story in which employees and others were critical of Tikaczynski's like history. Can you imagine this? It's not Stalinism. It's not Maoism. It's just Maoism 2.0. You liked a tweet. Oh my goodness. Setting aside the fact that liking a tweet doesn't necessarily mean agreeing with the message, but let's even set that aside. They were critical of Tikaczynski's like history, which identifies him as president, yada, yada, yada. Okay. 2 years after their introduction, the mRNA COVID vaccines have proven to be what we all should have expected, said Berenson in a tweet, who was once called the pandemic's wrongest man. Wow. Another in a long line of overhyped, rushed, profit-driven big pharma flops with weak long-term efficacy and lousy side effect profile. That was among the nearly 30 tweets. He liked 30 tweets by Berenson. Oh my goodness. That remained on his list. Some others didn't, including one calling gender reassignment surgery child mutilation. His like was removed. Of Tikaczynski's 539 likes that existed before the Inquirer story, was posted. 348 remained by early afternoon. By mid-afternoon, it was down to 203. Dude is in panic mode. And you make your worst decisions when you're in panic mode. Because what are you doing when you delete likes? You are confirming, ratifying what is being accused of you as being immoral, problematic conduct. You're not going to placate this monster, Tikaczynski. There's nothing you're going to do or say that's going to satisfy this monster because they want you. The fact that you're a white man, 70 years old, is not going to help you. They want you. They want you to lick their boot. They want you to grovel over your wrongthink, and they will still destroy you even after you do it. And if you didn't believe me before, I'm sure you know better now. Tikaczynski, yada, yada, he liked the tweets to bookmark them to learn more about the subject of a particular viewpoint. I regret my lack of understanding of how liking a tweet is an implied endorsement, he told the Inquirer. I also regret how my lack of understanding of the Twitter platform caused some to question my views on... You know what his answer should have been? Fuck off. Sorry, you can't say that on Twitter. Piss off. Oh, I'm sorry. You're going to tell me what I can think, what I can say, what I can like? Go to hell. That should have been the response. Now, I can say this as a position of not being 70 years old and you know, reliant on, I don't want to have my career tarnished at this late age. Maybe by licking that boot, they'll let me go. You know better, Tikaczynski. Piss off. Don't tell me what to think. Let me channel a little bit of Gerald Celente. Let me channel a little bit of Gerald Celente. Who the hell are you to tell me what to do? Who the hell are you to tell me what to think? Oh, you want me to apologize for liking a tweet? And the tweet wasn't like calling for someone's death. It wasn't Kathy Griffin holding Donald Trump's head. By the way, even if someone had liked that tweet, apologizing for it afterwards is somewhat disingenuous because you liked it for a reason. The response, the courageous response, piss off. I got free speech in this country. And if you want to sanction me for liking a tweet that is not a morally reprehensible, violence-inducing, violence-inciting tweet, do it. I'll see you in court. The bottom line, though, the courts might not do anything. All right, well, here's the problem. You've bent over to the machine. You've taken the knee to the beast, and they were never going to let you go in the first place. In his letter of apology to Jefferson community, Tikaczynski said he does not believe vaccines are harmful, and he noted that he and all that's not going to be enough. Oh, I'm sorry, you're vaccinated too? That's such an anti-vaxxer thing to say. That's like, oh, I'm not racist. I have black friends. I'm not anti-Semitic. I have Jewish friends. That's such a racist and anti-Semitic. I'm not an anti-vaxxer. I took two of these things. I took two of these jabs. But that's such a thing an anti-vaxxer would say. You need to take one every day to prove that you're not an anti-vaxxer. Listen to this. I understand that my lack of knowledge of the platform, he wrote, please be assured that this will be a learning experience. No, they didn't want you to learn. They wanted you to grovel so they could execute you anyhow. But Jessica Lingel, Jessica Lingel, an associate professor of communication and gender, sexuality, and women's studies. You thought Jessica was going to accept your apology, Tikaczynski? What did you learn? Let me pull up the meme of Stewie Griffin giving the baseball to the kid with the bat and changing for the bat, and then he hits the kid over the head with the bat and takes the ball. Now, what did you learn? What did you learn, Tikaczynski? You thought the associate professor of communication and gender and sexuality and women's studies who wants you out was going to accept your apology? No, she was always and only going to use it against you. Oh, what did she say here? She was critical of his response to being asked by the Inquirer if he thought transgender surgery was child mutilated. His answer should have been an unequivocal no, she said. Wrong, Jess. Wrong. His answer should have been an unequivocal yes, it is. And if you think it's not, you are the monster and you should be fired. Oh my goodness. She's telling him what his answer should have been. It's not only wrong think. Here's what you should say. I love Big Brother. Say it, Winston. Say it and we'll let you go. 2 + 2 = 5. I love Big Brother. His answer should have been an unequivocal no, she said. Instead, he told the Inquirer, this is not my clinical area of expertise. In general, any issue involving children should be referred to clinical experts at children's hospitals who offer the full complement. Oh, no, that's not what his response should have been. If it's me, my response is, yes, it's child mutilation. Any doctor that does it should have their license revoked. Any doctor that does it, I should know which doctors to avoid in the future. His pussyfoot disingenuous answer is because he doesn't want to stand behind his convictions. It's not my area of expertise. I'm sorry. I don't need to be an expert to know that you don't chop off the breasts of 15-year-old girls. I know that. I'm not a doctor. If they do not have breast cancer, it's not something you do. His answer should have been no. His answer should, yeah. His answer, he's not going to get rewarded for not taking a stance. Lingell said, you shouldn't need specialized understanding in pediatric care to recognize that chopping off a kid's penis or boobies is never. Oh, I'm sorry. No, that's not what she said. That trans-affirming care is simply part of healthcare. Well, I guess when abortion is part of reproductive rights, words no longer have meaning and part of their well-being. Hey, Lingell, stay the hell away from my kids. Stay the hell away from everyone else's kids. Oh, I'm sorry. What was her? She's a associate professor of communication and gender, sexuality, and women's studies, and she's now giving unequivocal medical advice. That makes sense. It's not a radical stance to say that trans-affirming care is not mutilation for children or anybody. Yes, it is. It's a radical stance to say that cutting off children's developing penises and breasts is child mutilation. But yada, yada, yada. Caccioni in his message further went on to emphasize that a diverse, equitable, and inclusive environment, diverse, equitable, and inclusive environment is fundamental to Jefferson's missions of the COVID-19 vaccines saved countless lives. Jefferson followed all guidelines, including requiring its employees and students to be vaccinated, he wrote. Well, Caccioni, you might be the monster.